Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whenever you are. Welcome to another episode of the Community Live Stream. My name is Chuck Tomasi. I'm the ServiceNow guy with the cool bow tie, sporting the purple today. This is Wednesday. What is it? The 22nd of August. The week is getting away from me quickly, and I can't keep track of the numbers sometimes. 22nd of August, 2018. Thank you for joining me. If you are watching live, thank you very much. We do this every week every weekday, Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. UTC. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you can see that at the URL there on the bottom of the screen. Much appreciated if you join us there on YouTube. We also simulcast this on Twitch. And if you find something helpful in this video, something that you learned, something that you would like to share, go ahead and click that like button and other people will recognize it as well. Making sure that the stream is up and running, getting a bit of spooling going on there. Looks like it's okay now. Thank you very much once again for joining us. Let's continue on. We also, if you want to give me a shout out in the chat, welcome to do that. I'll give you a shout out right back. I know a number of people are watching live. I'd like to say hi. This is my morning breakfast crew. I've got my cup of chamomile tea ready to go. And some people like to just say hi, tell me what the weather is, where you're from. I like to know that as well. Say hi. But if you've got information that goes deeper than that, if you've got a question about ServiceNow, if you've posted something in the community, go to community.servicenow.com, put that information there, and if not me, hopefully somebody will respond to that quickly and get your answer and help move the ball down the field, so to speak, and not to use too many sports metaphors. I know not everybody's a sports fan, but we'll get you closer to a solution, if not get you the solution. There are some that can be done in just a few minutes. There are some that take a little longer and require some more groupthink, bouncing ideas off of other people. It's a great, great community. Just a couple of suggestions that, let me make sure I'm on the right keyboard. If you're new to the community, make sure you do post that in the right sub-community or forum, what group that you're in. If you've got a question about performance analytics and reporting, putting it in the ITOM section may not be the most effective. You're going to get ITOM experts there. Maybe one of them knows the answer, maybe not, but if you put it in the performance analytics and reporting section, you will get better specialization, better subject matter experts for that information and get that taken care of. It's just like walking into a sporting goods store and asking about pet supplies, but you get the idea. If you are an expert, make sure I get that right. If you are an expert, then certainly go over to the community and consider turning some of that content into other content, blog posts, so it's easy to digest. If you see a recurring pattern, I've seen this a number of times, turn it into a blog post or a video, anything about scripting, or you've got lots of experience, there's something to be had there. We've got new content coming out all the time, so please check it out. We've got all the documentation around the scripting APIs, the functions, the classes, all that good information is on the developer portal as well. And see if I can get this working. Yes, I got to put that away. Go over to meetup.com. I know there are meetups announced on the developer portal. They're not kept as up to date, which is why I like this one. I'm really looking forward to presenting what I've learned about Todoist and integrations at the Phoenix Developer Meetup tomorrow night. Don't have any other plans immediately for any other meetups, but we are planning out into October around the Now Forum, Now Summits that are coming up in Q4. So looking forward to meeting many of you whom I've never met before at some of these events and some of the meetups that are around them. Potentially going to Auckland, potentially going to Melbourne, potentially going to some EMEA sites around the Now Forum London dates. So watch those dates, and I will be on the social media networks as well. Speaking of social media networks, keep an eye on the events page as well, and follow me on LinkedIn for more information. I am posting all throughout the day on LinkedIn and Twitter. You can follow me at ctomasi. It was on that first opening slide with my title. But I encourage you to do that and keep abreast of those events, and we'll move forward. One other event that I like to call out is September 25th. Craig Stepp is going to be doing content on our Tech Now series for Integration Hub custom spokes, and I'm looking forward to this. As I mentioned before, my experience with a lot of integrations is the traditional, let's create a REST API, let's get a script REST API income. So I want to make it easier to build and maintain these integrations. I know a lot of integrations that I do are very specific, bespoke applications, and I don't know that they'd have reusable components, but I want to get into that mode of building reusable pieces, parts, blocks, components, just to understand the best practices and how to do that. It's very intriguing to me. Also, any code that is demonstrated here, created here today, will be available at that bit.ly link you see on the bottom of the screen over at GitHub. So you can download it, try it, modify it yourself without having to squint at the screen and say, is that a curly brace or parentheses? I know that we've done this before. Carolyn's the first on the chat in YouTube to say good morning. Good morning to you, Carolyn. Good to see you. She's up and early as always. Thank you for watching. Let's take it from there to the community. There we go. This is the community behind us. I'm going to pick and pull and sort and find things that I can get into and hopefully help people with them. My expertise is in custom applications and integrations, so if I skip over some of these, it's not because I don't like you, it's because I'm not the subject matter expert in that field and I don't feel that I can offer any help. Sometimes I will open them up if it's intriguing, interesting, something I want to learn. The community is not just a place to offer help, but it's also a great place to learn on things outside of your comfort zone. And I believe one of our employees has an email signature or some phrase to that says, learning is what you do, or yeah, learning is grow. You learn and grow when you're outside your comfort zone, something like that. So the more you challenge yourself, the better you are. Let me look at all the unreplied ones. Hi there, performance analytics and reporting. Again, not something I generally get into. I do have a little bit of experience in that. I'm not sure how to read the results from the indicator below. If someone could explain, that would be great. The 48,000 hours is what I don't understand. I'm not going to tie into that one. Hover function is not working under all request service portal page. Hover function. Hover function. Let's see what we're looking at. Maybe they gave us some code. I've written a hover function. I'm curious to know what a hover function is. All request page. It's working for incident tab. But when I move my mouse near HR requests, open or close tab, incidents are changing color. This is pretty specific, and function mouse over, function mouse close. This is in the HTML. Interesting. Have you tried putting the client script in the script section? Where's the mouse over, mouse close? Okay. I'm going to go out there. I am going to throw this out there as a test. Have you tried putting the client script in the client script section of the widget builder? What's it? Widget editor? Widget editor? Widget builder? Widget designer? I can't remember. The one with the multiple panes where you can see the HTML and the client script. Are you getting any errors in the logs, in the client log? Oh, we'll see what happens to that one. Hey, first one. We're off to a rockin' start. Good morning to those of you who are just joining. This is the community live stream, going through and seeing what I can help with. And not only sharing, that's the whole point of this show. I forgot to mention that earlier. Not only sharing what I know, but giving you the understanding of how I know what I know so that you can employ that at work as well. Good morning, Makari. Good morning. ServiceNow fan is back. Arnud Kui. I apologize if I get some of these names wrong. It's still early for me in the morning. The screen is unreadable, says Carolyn. Is it better now? Hopefully. I wonder if it's a bandwidth thing. I've got it about as big as I can get on the font. Might be able to bump it up one more size. And then I lose some of the artifacts on the screen. That's at 175%. I'm wondering why you do not have Chicago in meetups, as we have a snug in Chicago today. Snugs are different than meetups. Snugs are general purpose for the whole general community of ServiceNow people. You may go to a snug and hear about, excuse me, you may hear about, Carolyn, I discovered that when the screen resolution goes a little wonky, I do a refresh on YouTube and it comes right back. Something about my browser and the bandwidth. But the snug, you'll get information about ITSM, you'll get information about ITOM, you get information about what's new in London across the whole spectrum. They're very broad and general, and that's a good thing. That's a great venue for that. The developer meetups are specific to the developers. We're going to be talking about code. We're going to be talking about new features for the platform specifically. We're going to be, it is whatever your group wants it to be. There is no leadership right now in Chicago. So Chicago hasn't had a developer meetup in a while. We're looking for somebody to take the reins and be the organizer. Really find a venue, pick a speaker or a topic, and go for it. If I can make it out there on your particular date, I'd be happy to join you. So that's why I haven't been to a developer meetup. The developer meetups are really driven by the developer community out there. ServiceNow is supporting, sponsoring, but not organizing. That is the otherwise it would come off as a ServiceNow event, and we don't want that. We want this to be a developer event. That's why Mike Stockman, who's a partner of ours, is organizing the Phoenix Developer Meetup. I kicked it off about 18 months ago. Is it 18 months? Wow, it seems like it's been a lot longer than that, but we've got some great content going in there. But I did the first one, and then I said, okay, who's organizing this thing? Who thinks this is valuable? And Mike Stockman stepped up. We've got Todd Volpe in Florida. We've got Gaurav Chaudhuri in one of the chapters in India. I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm looking for meetups in Hyderabad. Check that. I'm going to put that screen back up there for you for a second. Check that link and see if there is one. I know there's two, but I don't recall where they are in India. I don't see them on the schedule right now. But if you check that link, you'll get the global map up there, and you can zoom in if you want and see where those are. If there isn't one in Hyderabad, boy, I'd love to see one. I think there's great potential there. I know we've got a lot of ServiceNow developers there. I think we've even, I'm pretty sure there is. I'm pretty sure there is because Dave Slusher has been there before. And check the schedule. I think there's a chapter. I just don't know if there's an upcoming meeting for that. I want to say with about 95% certainty that there is a meetup there. Okay, let's go back into the community, see what we can find. The tea is absolutely perfect temperature right now. isMemberOfGroup. This one's probably already been responded to because we've been talking for a while. Need advice here. I have a script to check if user is part of a group. It's a client script. So they do an onload, they do a glide AJAX, check is member of a group, they pass in the name of the function, very good here, assign group. They do a callback function. In their callback, they take the response and parse out the answer. If the answer is true, TRUE, not to be confused with a Boolean true, then condition, otherwise condition. The script includes says, check is member of, extends abstract AJAX processor. I'm just doing some cursory checking to make sure that things look right here. Here's the assigned group. That corresponds to sysparm_name. You got that right? There. G_user is a client-side thing. They need gs.getUserID, and then you can check. Let's see if anybody's answered this. Nope. Okay. Now I want to go back in. The critical factor you have here, the critical missing piece is that you used g_user.getUserID instead of gs.getUserID. G_user is a client-side object. GS glide system is a server-side class. Swap that out and let me know how it goes. All right, give that a try. Actually, you can do an isMemberOf, I think it's part of the getUser object. See if there's anything else in here. No, that's it. No, no. I apologize. I have to fix that. Ooh. All right, go back to the home page. It's get user. It's get user. Where's get user in the API? API method get user returns reference to scope. I thought they just wanted the user ID. That is not true. Get display name, get user ID, get username, has role, is member of should be in here. And they should have an example. Info is debugging. Sorry about the scrolling. Is logging, is mobile. Oh my. Okay. Then let's go look, is member of. That might even just be is member of string. Is member of is part of, do we have an example? gs.getUser. Oop. Okay, that's what we need to change. Edit. Instead of gs.getUser. There we go. Get rid of the ID part. All right, hopefully they won't read the mail and do what's in the mail. There. I tried. Memory fails me sometime. It fails me a lot of times. Fix script to change sysids of asset and CI. Ooh, changing sysids. Dangerous, dangerous. Watch out. Hello all, one asset is associated with one CI, but I have another CI which has to be associated to this asset. For example, I have asset XYZ and it's related to, and its related CI XYZ. Therefore, but there's another CI ABC. Now this asset XYZ has to be related to CI ABC. My requirement is I should keep the sysid of asset XYZ in the asset field of CI ABC and should remove the sysid XYZ from CY. I'm trying to wrap my head around this. I think they're just moving a pointer. Can anyone please help? My requirement is I should keep the sysid of asset XYZ in the asset field of CI ABC and should remove the asset XYZ. Okay, I gotta remap this in my head. I've got XYZ asset 1 to CI1, but there's also a CI2. It has to be asset 1 should be related to CI2. My requirement is that asset 1 in the asset field of CI2. Okay. Well, that's not too difficult, I would think. It would go something like this. You know what? Let's do this in the text editor. I'm over to Visual Studio Code. I'm going to... Oh, come on. New. There we are. Let's bring up a standard code thing. And I believe they want... They're changing CI, right? They're updating a CI. My requirement is I should keep the sysid of the asset in the asset field of CI. Okay. So CMDB CI, they're going to get where asset is sysid of asset XYZ, Z, right? They want to remove. Yeah, okay. So they need 2 of them. They need all of them where the asset is, right. Did they say the other one was? So that will get you the old record from the CI table. And let's update rec.asset equals sysid of, let's see, now that's going to get the old one. I wonder if we can do this with just an if. It's a one-to-one, so we could do this with an if. Let's make these a little more readable. CMD, okay, let's do CI. Let's change this to CI. I'm thinking out loud as we go here. Change that to CI, but I think we can just get this with an if. We're only doing one query on one record, and I like doing this better. If ci.get asset sysid of asset x, y, z, just having fun, then ci dot, so we also need to get the old one. There's another ci, that gets the old one and clears it out. We need to get the new one and set it. Okay, so let's put a comment in here just to be nice. Clear out old value of ci xyz. Clear out old asset value. Easy enough. That's asset equals nothing. I'm probably doing this a little too brute force. Get rid of this stuff. Don't need that. Now set the value. I kind of need an update in there, don't we? Anybody seeing anything else? ci.update. Set the value of the new record. Var rats. CI1, 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 CI1. CI2 equals new glide record. CMDB CI. And we need to get that one if ci2.get sysid of CI2. I know I should have called them XYZ. CI ABC. There we go. If you can get that record, then ci2.asset equals sysid of asset XYZ. Thank you, autocomplete. I didn't think it was going to be very useful in this editor. ci2.update. Copy that. Paste it in here. And make it smaller so I can hit the OK button. Make it bigger so you can read it. Away we go. All right. Again, all this code will be available on the GitHub repo that I posted at the beginning. I should also post that at the end. It's one of my repos if you want to follow it over at github.com/ChuckTomasi. All one word, no dot. Try that. Yay, code. Mitkari writes, the variables or glide objects can we use in script which are defined in condition field in scheduled job? I'm not quite understanding what the question is. A condition field on a scheduled job. Let's take a look at a scheduled job real quick. Well, when your hands aren't on the home row, weird words come out. Scheduled jobs are under system definition. Scheduled job, of course, is something that runs on a scheduled basis, either periodically or at a time. My login timed out. That's what happens when you don't log into your personal developer instance. You get auto-logged out, just like most other instances. You know what? That drives me nuts. Let's do sys_properties.list. I usually have sys properties in here somewhere. Fix that as well. I'm just going to fix a whole bunch of things that are annoying me. System properties. And system properties should be red. I think so. And this should also be, that's fine. The icon is fine. Make that a little lower res so I can hit done. Okay, now I have a shortcut for system properties. And I believe it was something timeout. Ah! It was glide.ui session timeout. That's the one I want. Make that a little bigger so you can see it. It's currently set to 30 minutes. I'm in a scope app. So let's go with global. So I can edit this thing. And I am going to, who knows how many minutes are in a day. believe it's 1440. Let's find out. 24 times 60 is 1440. I knew that number sounded familiar for some reason. Do you have special numbers in your head? Do certain numbers mean special things to you, like 1440 or 360 or 404? Now, I'll throw out some easy ones. That's going to be a discussion we're going to have on our podcast this weekend. If you have some fun numbers, throw them in the chat. Let's find out what numbers mean what to people. If I said 404, I'm sure a lot of you would just naturally think, oh, that's a HTTP error for page not found. All right, that means you're a web nerd, which is a good thing in my book. So we were going back to scheduled jobs. Let's get that right. Scheduled jobs, new, and let's create a script of your choosing. And in the condition field, you can make it conditional down here. And this condition field is a script that needs to return true. Now, if you hover over some of these, execute this job only if the script evaluates to true. A lot of the out-of-the-box fields, not all of them, a lot of out-of-box fields have hover-overs. They have tooltips. And you can do that if you're creating new fields. I strongly recommend you do this by going to Configure Label. And in Configure Label, you will see, this is a best practice here, people, pay attention, the hint field. The hint field is what comes up when you hover over that tooltip, if you will. That is very, very helpful. You will have to write less end-user documentation if you get in the habit of using something like this. It's very easy to do. It's often forgot. I often forget it myself when I'm putting new fields on a form. But every time you create a new field, make a note to go back and put that hint in the field as well. That should be part of your UAT, in my opinion. Is somebody should be testing to say, do all the fields have a hover over? If they don't, go make one. Now you go, wait a minute, Chuck, I found some that are out of the box. ServiceNow isn't doing this for me. That's fine. You can modify labels. You do it all the time. It's a low impact thing to the upgrades. If we're not updating I don't know when the last time we updated a field label is, but if you do, you can get that in your upgrade history. When you upgrade your instance, it'll say, hey, this is, you modified the field label. Yes, I know, I put a tooltip on there because you didn't. So please, always put them on your own fields. It's optional to you whether you want to modify an out-of-the-box field label or not. Whew. Okay. 1729. Ramanujan number. That's an interesting one. I would have thought it was a year. And of course, there's always 6.02 times 10 to the negative 23rd. I think it is Avogadro's number. Is it negative 23rd? Or is it 23rd? I can't remember Avogadro's number. We're gonna geek out on today's show on numbers. Alrighty. There are many that fit in phone numbers too. When I hear a number, I associate it with a person because it's part of an old phone number for them. Nobody remembers phone numbers anymore. It's all in your phone. Okay, how can I auto close a problem after 5 days of resolution? A problem. Interesting. Okay. Now this one's already got an answer. Close problem on what condition? I got an answer for you. There's already one for incident auto closure, but I don't recommend using that. It's not a good model to follow. I recommend setting a system property and using a scheduled job against it. A system property like my problem resolution days. Using a scheduled job against it to query for active records that are resolved 5 or more days ago. you want to make this easy, if you want to make this easier, consider doing this without any script with a simple update set add-on that I made specifically for situations like this. How many times does this come up? Here's a good example of why you make videos, why you make, if you see a recurring pattern, and I see this all the time, scriptless. Yay, text expander. Okay. I see this all the time, is if I see a pattern, I'll say, you know what, rather than answer this question over and over and over again, one, it'd be nice if it was in the platform. I should have, speaking, it is now in the platform. If you've got Kingston or later, you should also consider doing this with Flow Designer. Gee, it's only been out for about 8 months and I keep forgetting it's there. There we are. Help. I consider that helpful. Scope issue when setting up live feed notification for CMDB CI business table. Hello, good morning, Cooking Fever. Good to see you back. It's been a while. Best practice to have location information in ServiceNow. Interesting that this is in service management. Let's see what they say. I'm new to the system and we have enterprise subscription to ServiceNow. Good, thank you very much. What is the best practice for the asset location fields? The default instance only has location and address fields, but we would like to have campus, building, and room fields, and they are not in the default system. Would it be best to just add the columns we need to CMN location table? We also have Visio maps that we would love to get a graphics option. Did anyone have experience setting this up? My first thought on this is, yes, go ahead and add the fields you need to CMN location. If they are 1 to 1. You can, what's this at campus, building, and room. You might find you have a lot of entries if you are getting down to the room level on each location record. But if you have multiple assets in that room, that makes it easier. Now I thought, I gotta look, I'm not a specialist at this, I thought facilities had a way of doing maps. Create a map in London. Create a map can be used, map hierarchy, maps, key specific unique, Let's take a look at that. Map level archive graphical information. Your map is not geographical. Click here. Map report. No, I'm not doing a map report. I thought it was facilities maps. Facilities maps. Otherwise, there's an integration with Map Anywhere. Tables installed with Facilities Visualize Workbench. Process GeoJSON map files. That includes parsing data to the map. GeoJSON, Facilities Visualization Workbench Configuration. That might be what I'm looking for. Facilities Service Management Overview. Activate Facilities Visual Workbench. I think that's it. Facilities Visualization Workbench is what I'm thinking of. There is also, oops, I always do double entry. That used to be the way on the old platform. There's also the Facilities Visual, what is it? Visualization Workbench. That's a long word. Am I even spelling it right? No. Visualization Workbench. To do this in the platform, to do maps in the platform, it does require a separate license for facilities management. Let's make a link out of that since I did copy that. And paste, enter, down, enter, tab, enter, something, something, something. Done. All right, ding. My question, please. Extend the table and use. I'm not understanding what the question is there. I apologize. If you've got a question related to the platform or you know, something a little longer, let's put it on the community. That way other people can answer it. I don't know that I will be able to answer it. I don't know if I'll have the time to answer today. I don't know if there's you know, the context can really be brought out a lot better. Plus, it's a system of record on the community. If you ask it in the chat, the only people that are going to know it's there are the handful of people that watch these videos, and anybody remembering or referencing is going to have to scrub through, find the. It's not a. YouTube is a good system of learning, a good system of conveying information, but not a good system of reference, in my opinion, for particular topics such as this. If I talk about something, somebody's going to have to remember, oh, it was at 37 minutes and 30 seconds when we talked about such and such. I'm not making show notes to that detail. I'm barely making show notes that cover the general topics. So I do recommend, if you've got a question about the platform, about development, about tables, about packages, please ask that in the community and you'll get a whole bunch of good experts. I'm only in the community right now for about an hour a day while I produce this video, and maybe a little pre and post work that goes on in there. But there are other people that are in there and out there the other 23 and a half hours a day. That tea got cold. Let's see if I have anything warm that I can put back in there. Yay. I finally figured something out. This may sound really obvious. If I was using an insulated cup such as this, the tea would be too hot for the whole darn show. It was too insulated. If I use a ceramic mug like this, it would get cold. So I put 2 and 2 together this morning. That's kind of the way my brain goes. I got more important things to think about, but every once in a while I get a shocking flash of obvious and say, why don't I make the tea, put it in here before the show, and then drink it out of here as it gets colder? Some people are probably going, well, I could have told you that. Well, yeah, I didn't ask. There you are. So always be thinking of process improvements, whether it is in your organization and dealing with ServiceNow or drinking tea in the morning. Kind of funny, isn't it? It's amazing sometimes you wake up and go, well, why didn't I think of this earlier? Let's look at the unreplied again, see if there's anything else in there. And then I will start to get to some of the replies. Scoping issue when setting up live feed. We're talking about that ServiceNow chat notification, event management, date and time not changing. Hi there. You know what? I'm getting ready to go to the backlog. Let's see. There's nothing in my inbox? Really? Yes, there has to be. I haven't refreshed that page. There has to be. There's 2 in the inbox. Let's go to the inbox and see what conversations we can continue to move forward. Managing glide lists. Did I or did I not cover this yesterday? Yesterday or Monday. I don't remember which one. Somebody made a comment. I'm waiting for the thing to scroll down to that. Oh, he marked it as helpful. Yeah, so this is something I put up many, many moons ago, to the tune of about 6 years ago, in 2012. Borrowed content from Knowledge 11. I'll go over it really quickly. It is a script include that I offer. You can use it as list utilities to manage list fields, like the watch list on an incident. So you can insert and remove, and it's really just using a JavaScript array under the hood. It takes the comma-separated societies, turns them into a JavaScript array, and then you use splice and join and all this other good stuff, array operations, to manage it behind the scenes. But it makes it very, very easy with methods like is in list. You can say, is Chuck's society in this list of users? If not, I want to add him to the list. If he is, maybe I want to remove him from the list. So you can use readable code to manage these things rather than coming up with for loop here and while loop there and join here and confusing somebody with these array functions. You put that, as simple as this is, look at this. It's like 2 lines of code, really. it sets up the index, and then it checks the index, and then it splices it in if I want to remove that person from the list. Yes, I could have done that in a business rule or UI action or whatever, but this makes it much more readable. So I'm not going to dwell on that. I've covered that in the past. Managing lists is a very fun thing to do. Hover function is not working under all requests. This was where I said try putting it in the client field. I'm going to get used to this software one of these days. The above script update HTML tag working. HR request not working. I'm not sure what this picture is representing here. So VJ, I'm going to leave it for the ServiceNow service portal experts to get to that. Do have a couple of things that I wanted to get back to. We had a script yesterday about inserting group members, and there were a couple of things that jumped out at me. We were working through this script. I don't know if you remember this or not. The basic idea, I'm going to cut this and put this into a script editor so it's a little easier to read. This is the updated version. So you know what I could do? I could do File, Open, and that's that was yesterday. Did I do this? Incident watch list, get time, update parent. Did I not post this? Okay, well, let's make a new record out of it. Let's do new, paste. All right, the idea is they wanted to check for usernames. Now, originally they had display value names like Chuck Space Tomasi, and they said, oh, silly me, I wanted to use user IDs rather than, or as they call them, usernames, because the actual name of the field is user_name. And I use that to query, are you in the group? So first it says, is this user in, does this user belong to this group? And the group table is sysuser_gr_member. I am going to save this file so that we can actually see it with some coloration once it knows that it's a JavaScript file. So let's do a quick save, go up and make a folder for today, 2018-08-22. That's what I said it was at the top of the show, right? Yes, it is the 22nd. For some reason yesterday I thought it was the 20th. So there may be a few things off. Okay. Add user to group.js. And by putting .js, it adds some coloration in there for us, which is very nice and helpful. Stretch that out to maximum capacity. So we set up an array with a couple of test users and say Aileen and Alejandro are the people I want to add to admins. We go through every record, or excuse me, every element in that array, then instantiate a glide record on sysuser_gr_member. This is the many-to-many table that links users to groups. So we've got users in sys_user, we've got groups in sys_user_group. This is the joining table that when you see it in a related list at the bottom, you are looking at records from sysuser_gr_member. Then it does this add encoded query. And we do add encoded query because it allows us to chain a couple things together. Could we have done this without an add encoded query? Yes. I like it for these more complex things. And the idea here is if user.user_name, you can dot walk in the encoded queries. This is one of the beautiful things about dot walking, where we have a reference field that we want to get an element out of another field in that table that it references. So if user.username is Alejandro Mascal, for example, in this case, and that's what the little up caret means, group.name is service desk. Not sure if that needs to be quoted or not, but anyway. It does a query on that, says return all the records, which is probably going to be 1. If it exists, if this does not exist, okay, there is no record for Alejandro Mascal on the service desk, then it drops into this section. And what I need is the sys ID for that user. I don't have that when I just use user.username. I'm doing a query to see if that record exists, and it doesn't, so I haven't retrieved anything. Therefore, I still need to go to sys_user and get the username, get the record where the username matches that field. Hopefully, all your usernames are unique. Okay. the label for the user underscore name field is user ID. And that can get a little confusing. Let me show you what I did to resolve that. I recommend this every time you're writing a query in a script and you don't remember what the name of the field is. You can simply hover over it in any form and say show. You don't even have to do show. You go, okay, this is labeled help, but it's called help. But there are a number of fields, and sysuser has one of them, where the label is not intuitively matched to the field name. It's probably because somebody created it and then changed the label later for clarity. I've done that. I can show you that in one of mine. So this one is called user ID, but if I right-click on it, it says user underscore name. And if you click show, it will tell you all the details about that. The table, the field, the type, the length, all that good stuff. Any default values, etc., etc. So watch that. Don't assume the label is the field name. It often changes. Again, I've done it myself as early as last week. I said, it made sense to me when I created the field, but as soon as other people start using it, it's like, now I could have gone back and destroyed the field and kept the values and migrated the data. So, you know what? I'm just going to relabel this. It was, oh, I can't even remember what it was originally called. It was something like update. And I changed it to do not publish in the label because that made more sense. So watch that. Back to our script. What were we talking about? Yes. Okay. If it isn't able to get a record, and you can use get with one parameter, it defaults to the sysid. You can put two parameters in here and say this field and that value. This is equivalent to doing an add query, a query, and an if next. Okay. I like this notation if it's a very simple one parameter, one value query. GS error, no, I can't find this, and continue says, go up to the loop and start over. It's the opposite of a break. Break gets you out of the loop, continue says, stay in the loop, but run to the next iteration. So it's going to go get the next array element. If I was on Aileen, it goes to Alejandro. Says, you know what, I can't find a user account. Maybe somebody typed something in this array incorrectly, and they misspelled Aileen's name. That'd be bad. Okay, then you wouldn't want your record to go, you wouldn't want your script down here to say, let's go create a new member record. Notice that even though I queried, I didn't actually retrieve anything. I just checked if there is a record. So I don't have a record, and GR, I borrowed this from the other record, is a group member. I am instantiating a different object down here on purpose. I don't want to assume I can do a gr.newRecord, a gr.user, a gr.group. Oh, shoot, I did. I forgot to do this. Let's do memgr. That was what I was trying to avoid. I'm glad I caught that. Let's go and edit that record. Nobody caught that. Nobody saw it. Didn't happen. Good thing I was reviewing it. Okay, so we do a memgr, copy that, put it back in my blog post. Oops, sorry. There I go. Edit that. That was 2 hours ago already. Edit that. Haha, no one will know the difference. Put that there. And nobody still responded to it. So, good. Save that. Back to the script. So this is simply create a new record. Come on, cursor. Why am I still highlighting? I don't know. Escape, escape. Okay. Add a new record. Initialize that record. Get the value of the user from the user record that I just retrieved. Wow, this is scrolling all over the place. Sorry about that. Set the group using set display value. All I have at this point about the group is the name. And if you use set display value on the group field, then you can use name. Works great. I use set display value all the time, especially with properties. If you're thinking about doing this using a property and you use gs.getProperty, don't set sysids in properties if you don't have to. Sysids are nasty, they're ugly, they may differ between your dev instance and your prod instance. Put a friendly name in there to help somebody understand who is the default group, what is the group we're adding to, What is the admin group called? Oh, it makes sense. When you're dealing with reference fields, try to use display values instead of sysids. Set workflow false. They don't want to update any business rules for adding a group to a member for whatever reason. I don't know what that's going to do, but they had it in there, so I left it in there. And finally, insert the record. So save that. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Sorry about that. For whatever reason, my mouse is really touchy on that thing. So that's a little bit of inserting groups into records. Excuse me, inserting members into a group. And maybe you found that useful. Again, if you find something helpful in these videos, click the like button. It'll help others to say, yeah, there's something cool in here. I learned something. Okay, follow up on asking why. This is an article, another old one that I wrote. Seems to be Legacy Day. But 7 years ago, circa 2011 when I wrote this, it's all about being an effective developer. Understanding what the requirements are behind a particular request. Some people may propose a technical solution, and we see this in the community a lot too. Hey, how do I do this? It's like, okay, I don't even understand why you want to do that. It doesn't make any sense out of context. So convey that context, give that information, give that background. What is the underlying requirement? Because doing this that you request may be the entirely wrong solution. It may come back to bite you later and be a problem for maintenance, scalability, whatever, upgrades. Don't get yourself into that. I'm all about steering people towards the best practices. I want to make sure you get a solution. I want to make sure you get an effective solution, even better. So I wrote this a while ago, and it was all about understanding why. Okay. Understand. And the response I got back, way down here, see if I can find this again. There's a whole bunch of embedded comments. If I remember right, there was a show all comments. There it is. And I'm going to look for, not that, there's 18 BAs in here. Back-based. It was all about the business analyst. Where's my 1 year ago? There. Okay, no, that's 3 months ago. Business analyst. We all have to do with business analysts. Here we go. So, in most of the service-based companies, BAs, business analysts, from our company take requirements from customers and they give it to us directly and tell us to implement. That's a bad BA in my opinion. Dave Smith writes, has anyone asked them exactly what part of business analyst they're doing here? If they're simply channeling requirements directly from the customer to design, your concern is valid, but ultimately amounts to, I know many business analysts that don't do this. Consequently, the wrong thing will be built because the requirements were not properly validated. Yes, I've seen it happen before with companies that blame the devs for building the wrong thing, not the business analysts for defining the wrong solution because they never bothered to understand. I came back and said, yeah, it comes down to the same thing. Don't be an automaton developer. Don't blindly implement things unless you understand why you are implementing them. If I came up to you and say, hey, can I put a checkbox on the sys user form that says project? You go, sure, I can do that. It'll take 10 seconds. Click, 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 done. What did you just do and why? Do you understand why that project field is there? Is it driving performance? Is it driving process improvement? What is it doing? Why does Chuck need that? Because in 2 weeks, someone else may come along and say, hey, can I put a checkbox on the sys user form? And then pretty soon you've got all kinds of fields and you don't know what they're for, why they're doing that, and 3 of them do the same thing. This is a situation I walked into when I was taking over CRM package in 2003 in a former lifetime. And there were so many things on the form because this person wanted this and this person wanted that to do the same thing, and this person wanted a third field to do the same thing. One's a date, one's a checkbox, one's a string field. It's not normalized. And then they go, well, why can't we report on anything? Well, because you're all trying to report on 3 different things and nobody's got the process understood to understand what those fields are for. Sorry, I'm a little passionate about this stuff. It took me about a year to unwind that rat nest and re-implement the CRM. So same kind of thing here. Understand, ask why. maybe even change the process. If you've got business analysts that are ineffective, they're just passing off these requirements and saying, here, developers, go implement it. Then it may be time to reevaluate your development process. Maybe, and I said one solution is to get the developers into those requirements gathering meetings earlier so that they can understand. Now, me, as a longtime developer, I fall into the trap of trying to solve the problem immediately when I'm in that meeting. Don't do that. Don't fall into that trap. Understand all of the requirements, because you may not be able to understand how the pieces fit together until you have all the pieces, like a jigsaw puzzle. So take a look at those requirements, understand them, then ask your questions. Make notes. It's okay to make notes and say, well, why do you need this checkbox? Where does this piece fit in? Have you thought about this? This requirement conflicts with this other requirement. Help the business analyst if they're not doing their job effectively. You never know. You may be a better business analyst than they are, but certainly don't beat them over the head with that. So understand what that's for, and then you can build a better solution if you understand all the requirements. You may take a look at these requirements and say, yeah, these two look like they're duplicates. Can you help me understand? Are there any differences? And they'll go, oh, you know what? We got that from this part of our process team, and we got the other one from our other process team. Sounds like they're saying the same thing. Great. Let's do away with that. For example, one needed a field called date. What was it? Dates. Not date started. I had an example for this. Oh, I wish I could remember. It was two different date fields, but they were mutually exclusive. Okay, you can't. Oh, now I can't remember. It was a really good example. But you may see two date fields and go, these can't be used at the same time. Why don't we just make one field, and that's the date the action was taken, and we can report on that a lot easier. Be thinking in terms of that. Get the whole picture, understand what the process is about. Again, I'm going off the deep end, but maybe you find this helpful. This is a very popular article that I wrote, and I hope you find it informative. You can find similar information. There is a website that I haven't mentioned in quite some time that can help get to the bottom of this. If you want to dig in further, it's called xyproblem.info. And you know what? I can even pull that up. Make sure it's still there. XY, just how it sounds, problem.info. There we go. This is something that all developers should read, in my opinion. Okay, user wants to do X. User doesn't know how to do X, but thinks they can fumble their way to a solution if they can just manage to do Y. User doesn't know how to do Y either. User asks for help with Y. Others try to help user with Y, but are confused because Y seems like a strange problem to want to solve. After much interaction and waste of time, it finally becomes clear that the user really wants help with X, and that Y wasn't even a suitable solution for X. Similar situation. Okay, understand what they're trying to do. Always include information about the broader picture along with any attempted solution. If someone asks for more information, do provide details. If there are other solutions you've already ruled out, share why you've ruled them out. This gives more information about your requirements. Remember that if your diagnostic theories were accurate, you wouldn't be asking for help, right? Okay, so and there's some examples in there. So very good information. The more you know as a developer, the better the solutions you can try to provide, and the less maintenance, less cost it will take to maintain them. Hopefully you found that useful. I like that. xyproblem.info is a great site. Refer it to your colleagues if you wish. You have my recommendation, because that way we all improve. All right, that takes us to the end of the show. Let me bring that back up. There we are. Takes us to the top of the hour. Thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. If everything is willing and nothing bad happens and no business trips come up at the last minute, I will see you here tomorrow. Until then, take care, be well, and learn, share, and be helpful. That's what it comes down to. Bye.